Okay guys, let's make a start with IELTS Listening Part 1, Section 1, Questions 1 to 6. Complete the form below. So we have this form completion. They have given a form and you got to complete that or fill in the form. No more than 3 words and or a number. Maximum words are 3 and number. Means there may be a number. Number plus word, only words, only number, like that. Homestay application. And then you can see one example is given and answer is mentioned. Now they don't play audio related to this example. In the past, they used to play the audio. Then they used to say example name is given and now we should begin. So that would take around 1 minute. But now they have stopped it. Okay, question number 1 is first name. For example, my name is Asad Yaqub. My last name or surname is Yaqub. And my first name is Asad. Okay, first name or given name. That's what we are going to write. And if the name is unusual, they'll spell it for you. Let's start.
Section 1. You will hear a student talking to a housing officer about living with a homestay family.
Yes, what can I do for you?
My friend is in homestay and she really enjoys it. So I'd like to join a family as well.
Okay, so let me get some details. What's your name?
My name is Keiko Yuchini.
Could you spell your family name for me?
It's Yuchini. That's Y-U-I-C-H-I-N-I.
Okay, what's the answer? Yuchini is not the answer. Why I stopped the audio? Because I saw many of you writing the Yuchini. Okay, this is given in example. Right? So your question number 1 is about first name. Now please wait for the audio.
And your first name?
Yes.
It's Keiko. K-E-I-K-O.
That's Keiko Yuchini. Okay.
Alright. Keiko Yuchini. I told you Chikumiku or anything like that. So what's the spelling of Keiko? K-O. K-E-I-K-O. Alright. Now you can see sex, female. Nationality, Japanese. Passport number. Now they will talk about sex, they will talk about nationality, but when they come to passport number, then you will write. And by the way, if passport number contains alphabet and number, you should write alphabet in capital. Whenever they have a postcode or any code, alphabet plus number, then try to write alphabet in capital. And when you transfer your answers to your answer sheet, try to use all capital on the answer sheet. On question booklet, however you want to write, you can write your answers, no problem. But when you transfer to the answer sheet, why capital letters? Because of clarity. Your answers will be clear to those markers. We call them markers. Markers are those people who mark your listening and your reading. Now, let's go on. Passport number.
And you're female. And your nationality?
I'm Japanese.
Right. And could I see your passport, please?
Here it is.
Okay, your passport number is JO6337. And you're how old?
I'm 28 years old.
Okay, passport number? Yes, and whenever they say O, just write O. Whether it is 0 or O or whatever, JO6337. That's passport number. All clear? And by the way, when you write this, you can write clearly. You can give even space, J, space, O, space 6. However you write your answer, there is no problem. Okay. Let's go on. After that, length of homestay. Length of homestay means how long does she want to stay with the family. And that is going to be either in days or weeks or months or years. That's it. Length of homestay. And they have used the word approximately. In the audio, they might use the word around, almost, more or less, about, something like that. Let's see.
Now, you live at one of the colleges. Which one?
Willow College, room 21C.
Right, 21C Willow College. And how long are you planning on staying with Homestay?
About 4 months. Longer if I like it.
About 4 months longer if I like it. Now, answer is not going to be longer. Answer is 4 months. And 4 is a number. Months is a word. It's a word. Because they said no more than 3 words and or a number. Okay, like this. Let's go on. Course enrolled in, it's the title of the course, it's the name of the course, right? And at times it may take two words. For example, additional math is a course, right? Or it can be practical psychology. Then you will write both words. So let's see what is the name of the course.
And what course are you enrolled in?
Well, I've enrolled for 20 weeks in the Advanced English Studies because I need help with my writing. And I'm nearly at the end of my first 5-week course.
Okay.
All right. So, Advanced English Studies. And on your answer sheet, when they give you answer key, there they have the answers. So there, the word advanced has been written in brackets and the word studies has also been written in brackets. You know what does that mean? These words are optional. Now, full answer is Advanced English Studies. But if you write only English, your answer is acceptable. If you write only Advanced English, your answer is acceptable. If you write only English Studies, still your answer is acceptable. Now, by the way, in order to avoid such type of confusion, they introduced one word only. In the past, they used to have no more than 3 words and then there could be confusion sometimes. So now they have one word only, but you never know that when you go to take your IELTS test, they give you 3 words and then you should be confused. So that's why we are doing this. Question number 5, family preferences. Now, what is family preference? No dash. Just focus the word no. Okay, so what is the family preference? No males. No, something like that, okay? No this. A girl is going to stay with the family, so she might have the preference no males, right? Okay, let's see.
Do you have any preference for a family with children or without children?
I like young children, but I'd like to be with older people. You know, adults, someone around my age.
Okay.
So, family preference? Let's see. Don't be confused. I play it again.
Do you have any preference for a family with children or without children?
I like young children, but I'd like to be with older people.
I like young children, but I'd like to be with older people. That means no young children or no children. Got it? I'd like to be with older people means no children or no young children. So answer is going to be children or young children. Exactly. Alright, sometimes answer is not direct. It's indirect answer. You got to figure it out. Okay, if she's saying this, it means answer is that. Question number 6. No objection to dash. Now there is something and she's got no objection. She says, I don't mind. Or no objection means I love them. Whatever they say. No objection means she doesn't mind that thing. Question number 6.
And what about pets?
I am a veterinarian, so that's fine. The more the better.
Alright. I'm a veterinarian, so that's fine. The more are the better. No objection to pets. Now see that they did not use the word no objection. But the way they communicated, just listen to it again.
And what about pets?
I am a veterinarian, so that's fine. The more the better.
Okay, veterinarian means I like vegetables. Okay, yeah, veterinarian means animal doctor, right? Okay. Alright guys, in listening part 1, short answer questions are unusual, but again you never know. There can be anything. So be prepared for that. This test has got a very good variety of questions and you should go through it. Questions 7 to 10, answer the questions below. We call them short answer questions. Okay, now write no more than 2 words for each answer. Question number 7. What does the student particularly like to eat? Please underline the word particularly. For particularly, they are going to use the word especially or any other word. Now student will say, I like to eat burger, I like to eat pizza, but I especially like to eat chicken. Particularly like to eat. Now they are going to use another word for particularly. So whatever the student especially likes to eat, that will be your answer. Let's see.
All right. Now, What about you? Are you a vegetarian or do you have any special food requirements?
No, I am not a vegetarian, but I don't eat a lot of meat. I really like seafood.
See that? I really like seafood. And what is the word here? Particularly like. Now, particularly and really, they are synonyms. Okay, in IELTS language, again, language of question booklet and the language of audio. Okay, seafood will be the right answer. Question number 8. What sport does the student play? Now, which tense is it? Present simple, right? If in the audio, तबीयत सही है भाई की, चक्कर तो नहीं आ रहे, गर्दन घुमा रहे ना कबूतर की तरह ही है. ऑलराइट, ध्यान रखना अपने हमसाये का. बास का प्रेशर बड़ा होता है. एक स्टूडेंट ने यहाँ से जाते ही नहर में छलांग लगा दी थी. ये और फिर उसको बचा लिया गया. बेहोशी में भी कह रहा था मैं नहीं आइल्स करना. सो अपना ख्याल रखना है, ठीक है. ये नहर पे जब जाते हैं तो ध्यान से जाना है. वहां पे फिर वो ये anyways. Okay, so what sport does the student like to play? Now listen please, tell me, is that the answer or not? When I was at the university, I used to play football. Is that the answer? No. I'm planning to play cricket next year. Is that the answer? No. So whenever they use the word do, does, did, will, then they will always use the wrong tense. They will give you one option, but that will not be the answer. The right answer is going to be what sport does the student play at present. It means. So please listen now.
And what are your hobbies?
I like reading and going to the movies.
Do you play any sports?
Yes, I joined the handball team, but I didn't like that, so I stopped playing. Now I play tennis on the weekend with my friends.
All right.
All right. So answer is handball. Yes. No. Answer is reading. Yes. By the way, did anybody write reading? No. Okay. All right. Now listen. If you write reading, it's not a sport. Yeah, logical thing. Reading is not a sport. In handball, I used to. That was past tense. So correct answer is tennis. T-E-N-I-S. Double N-I-S. Well done. If your spelling is wrong, your answer is wrong. Okay. Yes? Oh gosh. We kept crying all the night and nobody died. Translated to Punjabi. Sari raat ronde rahe the Maria, koi bhi na. Listen, that student is talking herself. Alright, so student will not say student, she will say I. Listen again, please. I play it for you.
And what are your hobbies?
I like reading.
Now, I like ye bichari student hai. Okay? Yeah. All right. That's good. Once upon a time in my early childhood, somebody wrote me a letter. Kind of love letter. अच्छा, उसको लगा कि ये फिर पता कैसे चलेगा कि ये लव लेटर है या लेटर है क्या. उसने सबसे पहले टॉप पे लिखा खत. ताकि पता चले कि ये खत है, कागज नहीं है कोई. ठीक है, तो ये स्टूडेंट ही है. ठीक हो गया ना ये. ऑलराइट, लेट्स गो ऑन. क्वेश्चन नंबर 9. What mode of transport does the student prefer? She will talk about bus. She will say taxis are expensive. She will say buses are slow. She will say trains have crowd and all that. But whatever she prefers, that will be the right answer. Okay, so let's see.
Let's see. Name, age, now the location. Are you familiar with the public transport system?
No, I'm not really, because I have been living on campus. I've been to the city a few times on the bus, but they are always late.
What about the trains?
I like catching the train. They are much faster.
What about trains? I like catching the trains. They are much faster. So what mode of transport does the student prefer? Train. Very good. T-R-A-I-N. Well done. Good. Singular or plural, there is no problem. Okay? As long as you don't violate any grammar rule, your answer is singular or plural, that's fine. Okay, question number 10. When will the student find out her homestay address? So when are they going to give her the homestay address? For example, tomorrow. For example, on 2nd August or anything like that. Number is no more than 2 words. Yeah. So when will the student find out her homestay address? For example, if I say, I'll send you the address by tonight, what will be the answer? Tonight. I will send you the address tomorrow. Answer? Tomorrow. Very simple.
Now, let me go check on the computer and see who I've got. Listen, leave it with me. I'll check my records and I'll give you details this afternoon.
Thank you for helping me.
I'll
It's a
give
pleasure.
you details.
Bye.
Bye.
This afternoon. So you can write this afternoon because it's no more than 2 words. Or otherwise, if you write only afternoon, that is correct answer. All good? Alright, that's good. Let's go on. Yay! Multiple choice. Okay guys, multiple choice questions. How many of you are afraid of multiple choice questions? Raise your hand. तो मैं क्या करूं? Alright, okay. Listen. Multiple choice questions test your ability to find out correct information from some confusing information. They'll give you 3 options. Out of 3 options, 2 options are wrong. 2 options are misleading. 2 options they will discuss negatively, oppositely. So you need to identify those 2 wrong options. What we do in multiple choice questions, we are looking for the right answer. We are always looking for the right, and at the end, we are trapped with a couple of words. You know, we don't focus sentence, we don't focus ideas, we focus words. And then we say, okay, they use the word bus tour. A is the right answer. Okay, so the first thing is you need to understand the question. The second thing is you should be able to eliminate the wrong choices. Eliminate the wrong choices means A cannot be the answer. Eliminate the wrong choices means C cannot be the answer. When you learn to eliminate wrong choices, then you become pro at multiple choice questions. Okay, so how to do it? Let's just learn it together. Question number 11. What kind of tour is Sally leading? Sally, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, so what kind of tour is Sally leading? Now, Sally is going to lead a tour. You know, group leader. For example, if you go by bus, for example, say we are going to go by bus, so she's going to lead a bus tour. Second, train tours. Third, walking tour. Now, just listen to Sally carefully and then see what type of tour is she leading. Is she leading means she's the leader of a tour. Okay, if she say, everyone please get aboard, or everyone please get in the train. Get in the train means she's leading a train tour. Or if she says, the bus will take you to a place, that means bus tour. And if she says, we are going to walk to the hill, we are going to walk to the hill means it's a walking tour. So let's see, question number 11. And one more thing, they will not discuss all the options like A, B, C. They may start from option C, then option A, then option B. So you need to first identify which option is being discussed.
Section 2. You will hear a guide giving a tour of a park.
Welcome to all of you. Can everybody see and hear me? Good. I'm Sally, your guide for this tour of the Bicentennial Park. I hope that you're all wearing your most comfortable shoes and that you can keep up the pace. So, let's get underway on our tour around this wonderful park.
Why? Comfortable shoes and keep up the pace. Comfortable shoes and keep up the pace. Right? So shoes shopper में नहीं डालने, पहन के जाना है. That means it's a walking tour. Now you understand walking tour, and she used the word shoes and keep up the pace. Keep up the pace means साथ साथ चलना है. Okay? Alright, C will be the right answer. Question number 12. Original buildings. In multiple choice questions, never read article. A, and, the, and some. Yes. Okay, that's very good question. Listen, in multiple choice questions, what do they do with other 2 wrong options? Now listen carefully. There are 3 options. One option is right. What do they do with other 2 wrong options? Option A, they speak about them negatively, oppositely. Option B, they don't even discuss them. Right? Now what happened here? Did they talk about train? Did they talk about walking tour? Did they talk about bus tour? No, so they use that option. Either they speak about them negatively or oppositely, or they just ignore those options. That is also possible, right? Let's go on. I think in the next one they are going to speak about other options too. Question number 12. Original buildings on the site were. Underline original buildings. Site were. Now what were the original buildings? For example, if I say originally there used to be a post office here, but now we have a bank. So what was the original building? Post office. So original buildings on the site were houses, industrial buildings and shops. So now you will focus. For example, if they say there used to be shops, and the shops, or originally it used to be a market with hundreds of shops here. Originally it used to be, or they use the word initially, it started off as a market and there were many shops. Originally, initially, these words are important. So let's see.
I'll start today with some general background information. There used to be a lot of factories in this area until the 1960s. Creating the park required the demolition of lots of derelict buildings on the site, so most of the exciting park space all around you was originally warehouses and storehouses.
Warehouses, and originally warehouses and storehouses. Now what are those? No, warehouse is not a house. House is where you live. Warehouses where industrialists, they put their goods there. So it is industrial buildings. Warehouses and, no, what was the other word? They used to, yeah, storehouses. Warehouses and storehouses. So correct answer is industrial buildings. Now have you noticed one thing? For industrial building they use the word warehouse. Okay, and they also use the word in the beginning, they said initially industries. Yeah, factories. Okay, question number 13. Local residents wanted to use the site for. Local residents means local people. They wanted to use this site for means purpose. What was the purpose? Option A, leisure. Leisure means park, garden, or community club, community center. Option B, apartment blocks. For that they can use the word high-rise, apartment block, or skyscraper, flats and all that. Option C, sports center. For that they can use the word cricket stadium. That is sports center and all that. So local residents wanted to use. Now focus what local residents wanted to use the place for.
The idea of building a public park here was first discussed when a property developer proposed a high-rise housing development, but the local community wasn't happy. If the land was to be cleaned up, they wanted to use the site for recreation. Residents wanted open space for outdoor activities rather than housing or even an indoor sports complex.
A, why not C, indoor sports complex? Now please listen carefully. They used a word rather than. Whenever in multiple choice they use the word rather than, instead of, we considered, we'd thought, we'd expected, usually after that they speak exactly the same option, and that is wrong. Sometimes they use the word neither, nor, and after that whatever they speak, even that is wrong. So over here correct answer is leisure, right? And for that they use the word recreation, right? I'm playing it again, and the audio went like BAC. You know what is BAC? Order of these options in the audio. Please listen again.
The idea of building a public park here was first discussed when a property developer proposed a high-rise housing development.
Okay, property developer proposed a high-rise apartment and all that. That was the proposal of property developer. But our question is about local residents, right? So that's what we got to listen to.
But the local community wasn't happy. If the land was to be cleaned up, they wanted to use the site for recreation.
They wanted to use the site for recreation. So local residents wanted to use the site for leisure. Leisure and recreation, they are synonyms. And now how do they cheat us about C?
Residents wanted open space for outdoor activities rather than housing or even an indoor sports complex.
Rather than housing or even an indoor sports complex means they didn't want housing, they didn't want indoor sports complex. Okay, once you understand these type of things, then listening will become easier, and otherwise you do blindly option Question number 11, A. 12, B. 13, obviously C. Okay, yeah, then you argue. Anyways, question number 14. The tower is at the center of the dash. It's going to be a location. Tower is at the center of what? A. Nature reserve. B. Formal gardens. C. Bicentennial Park. So, tower is at the center. If they say in one corner, you can see, for center, they might use the word middle of, center of, or anything like that. So, let's see.
Now, to the Bicentennial Park itself. It has two areas, a nature reserve and a formal park with man-made features and gardens. The tall blue and white building in front of us is called the Tower and is the centre point for the formal gardens. It stands 12 metres high.
Yes, it's the center point for the... Now, center point for the formal gardens and center of the formal gardens. Answer is B. And by mistake, whenever they label A, B, C, D, never use the word. Okay, for example, answer is B. And sometimes, you're extra careful. You write B and then you write formal gardens also. That answer will be wrong, absolutely wrong. So whenever they label means they use A, B, C, D. Then you must write the same. Okay. Okay guys, now we are going to learn how to deal with map. And sometimes maps are simple, sometimes maps are of a park and all that. Anyways, questions 15 to 17. Label the plan below. They've got a plan or a plan. Can you see there is Olympic site east, west, north, south? Okay, so if you're taking paper delivered IELTS, which I prefer for the students here, especially Asian students who are not quite familiar with computer, what you have to do, on the top of the map, write capital N. Where there is the word lake. Next to lake, write capital N. And N for north. On the left side, write capital W. And W for west. On the right side, write capital E. E for east. At the bottom, please write A. Good. S for south. Now, whenever they say anything like that, you don't need to go back to C and all that. Okay. Now, after this, you have to check the arrangement or questions. So, the first question is 15. Can you see question number 15? Yes. And it's close to station. They will talk about station, and from the picture, it sounds like a railway station. And they will use the word indoor arena, swimming pool, station, and whatever they say about it, it's going to be there. Now, where is question number 16? Yes. When they use the word pond or they use the word benches. Now, benches are in the middle of this very thing. So, if they say around the benches, we have something. Whatever they speak about it, that will be your answer. Around the benches, next to the benches. Right? So that is question number 16. Now, please come to question number 17. Yes. And can you see what is that? These pictures. In fact, they are trees. In actual exam, you will get color copy of your question booklet. If there are any pictures, they will be crystal clear. Right? So these are the trees. Now, if they use the word island in the middle of the trees, or if they use the word it's hidden in the trees, that is going to be question number 17. For example, we do have a museum which is close to the island. I'm afraid you can't see it because it's all hidden in the trees. So that is going to be question number 17. And that's it. Now we are going to start from question number 15. Audio will start from the first question, and audio and the questions, they are in the same order.
Well, here we are at the top of the tower, and we're going to look at the view from each direction. Out to the east, the large buildings about 1 kilometre away are on the Olympic site. There's an indoor arena for gymnastics, a stadium for track and field, and a swimming pool for races and synchronised swimming, and also diving. If you look carefully down there, you can see the train lines. The Olympic site has its own station to encourage the use of public transport. There is also a car park, but it only holds a limited number of cars.
They use the word station, and there is a car park which holds a limited number of Cars. And they talked about stadium, swimming pool, indoor arena. So station, and answer is going to be car park. And sometimes, what do? They give you the list of words. A, B, C, D, A, car park, B, cafe, C, this, D, that. In that case, first you write the words and later on you can check the labels and then you write those labels. So for question number 15, answer is car park, or in simple words, car park. Okay, question number 16. Now please come to that and focus the words like pond and benches.
The formal park has some specially created water features. If you look out here to the south, you can see a circular ornamental pond. And around to the west, you can relax and sit on a bench to smell the flowers in the rose garden.
You can sit and relax on the benches, the flowers in the rose garden. It means around the benches they have rose garden. I'm playing it again.
The formal park has some specially created water features. If you look out here to the south, you can see a circular ornamental pond.
You can see a circular ornamental pond. That is that is already there. Circular ornamental pond. So now they talked about pond. Now please let's go on.
And around to the west, you can relax.
Around to the west, you can relax.
And sit on a bench to smell the flowers in the rose garden.
To smell the flowers in the rose garden. So it means all around the benches they have the rose garden. Clear? Answer is rose garden. Now this answer is not direct, but you got to focus. Question number 17. Let's see.
And finally, up to the north, if you look in front of you now, there's a lake with a small island in the centre. You can hire rowing boats at the boat shed, which you can't see from here. But if you look through the trees, you can see the cafe, which has lovely views across the water.
If you look through the trees, you can see the cafe. So 17, correct answer is... Okay, just for your general knowledge, when we write the word cafe, because originally it's a French word, on the last E there is an accent mark. In actual exam, if you don't write that accent mark, you write C-A-F-E, it's correct. But, this is just one word, C-A-F-E, and then there is an accent mark on E. If you write that, that's okay. If you don't write, there is no problem. Okay, now we've got questions 18 to 20. Complete the table below. Now we have a table, and in table we have columns. And just see the arrangement of questions in the columns. Write no more than 2 words. And you can do one thing in actual exam if you're taking paper delivered. Encircle 2. Encircle one word and or a number. Encircle word, one word and number. So that you are clear about it. And one more thing. When you are transferring your answers to your answer sheet, make sure you take a look. That this question type is 1 word only. This is no more than 2 words. This is no more than 3 words. Because in 1 word only, if answer is book and by mistake you write a book or the book, or some books, your answer will be wrong. Exactly. Alright. Area. Mangroves. Facility. Broad walk. Activity. Now activity is going to be the answer. Very simple. The name of area is mangroves. And it's an unusual word. Leave it there. Facility that they have is boardwalk. And what is the activity? They will talk about the activity. And usually when they talk about activity, मुंह थोड़ा सा कम खोला करें, अगर जमाई आती है मुंह नीचे कर लिया करें, ठीक है? मुझे लगता है शायद मैं कोई आप लोगों पे जुल्म कर रहा हूँ. नहीं मुझे okay. So हाथ रखना है मुंह के ऊपर, या ये हैंड आउट जो दिया ना थोड़ी देर के लिए ये रख लें. या एक स्टूडेंट था, उसने मास्क आया होता था, मास्क की सिलवटें खुलती थी फिर बंद हो जाती थी. ओके, या मुझे पता चल जाता था कि मुंह खुला है. एग्जैक्टली. और आइल्स की लिस्निंग करते हुए उतना मुंह होता नहीं है जितना खुल जाता है. ये है एक लिस्निंग और एक रीडिंग. ठीक है, जरा एक्टिव होके बैठे हैं, मुंह पे पानी मार के आए, थोड़ा सा सेट हो जाएंगे. अच्छा जी, एनीवेज, सो एक्टिविटीज आर यूजुअली एलैबोरेटेड लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल इफ दे से वॉकिंग, right, running or anything like that. So let's see.
We will go now and have a look at the nature reserve section of the park, which has opened up natural wetland to the public. The mangroves have been made more accessible to visitors by the boardwalk built during the park's upgrade. You'd think that people would come here to look at the unusual plant life of the area, but in fact it's more often used for cycling and is very popular with the local clubs.
It's more often used for Now see, they did not use the word activity. They described the activity. It's more often used for cycling. C-Y-C-L-I-N-G. Exactly. Very good. Let's go on. Frog pond. Okay. They have a pond that is for frogs. Like the do dekhne hai to you can go there. Frog pond. All right. Just look at English people. What do they have and all that. Anyways, they have this frog pond. It's outdoor classroom. And what is the activity there? Now activity, it can be lesson or anything like that. So what is the activity at the frog pond? Mendak wala chappar. Yeah, mendak wala chappar. Yeah.
This is the far end of the park, and over there you can see the frog pond, a natural feature here long before the park was designed. Just next to it we have our outdoor classroom, a favourite spot for school parties. The area is now most often used by primary schools for biology lessons.
The area is used by primary school for biology lessons. So activity, if you write only biology, is that the right answer? No, because it's not activity. What is the activity? Biology lessons. Now you can write lesson singular or plural, they will accept that. Okay. All right, let's go on. Next is only lessons will be wrong, because only lessons does not mean biology lessons. Yeah. So let's go on. The water bridge refuge, question number 20. Now what is the facility there? Question is about facility.
And finally, let's pass by the waterbird refuge. This area is in a sheltered part of the estuary. That's why the park's viewing shelter is a favourite spot for bird watchers who can use it to spy through binoculars. You can watch a variety of water birds, but most visitors expect to see black swans when they come to the shelter. You might spot one yourself right now.
I knew you would miss it. Actually, listen. Now I tell you the magic. Just look, there's a word facility. For facility, they use the word spot. You know, like you say hot spot, ice cream spot, and this spot and that. So it's going to be the word spot. Now listen to it again and focus the word spot.
And finally, let's pass by the waterbird refuge. This area is in a sheltered part of the estuary. That's why the park's viewing shelter is a favourite spot for bird watchers who can use it to spy through binoculars.
Viewing shelter is the favourite spot. Viewing shelter means you can hide yourself there and you can see the birds. Viewing shelter. Answer is VIEWING, viewing, and then shelter. Please listen to it again.
And finally, let's pass by the waterbird refuge. This area is in a sheltered part of the estuary. That's why the park's viewing shelter is a favourite spot for birds.
That's why the park's viewing shelter is a favourite spot. So viewing shelter. No, it will not be the right answer because they've specified it to viewing shelter. But still, for your understanding, I check it. Yes, it's biology lesson, it's viewing shelter, no word in bracket. Okay guys, we've got section 3, and keep in mind section 3 is mainly for 3 type of questions. Number 1, multiple choice, where out of 3 you select 1. Number 2, multiple choice, where out of 5 you select 2. And number 3, matching type of questions. But if there is a mixed pattern, then sometimes you can get 1 word only in part 3, and if you get 1 word only in part 3, you are lucky. Yeah, it means less multiple choice questions. One of the students, he told me there were 10 multiple choice questions in part 3. Satyanas, okay, all multiple choice. Yeah, so this is also possible, but don't be afraid of multiple choice. Practice again and again, and then you will understand the mechanism, how they work. And by the way, they use the same type of mechanism. Whenever I solve a new test, I realized, oh yeah, it's the same technique they are using here, right? Anyways, let's start. Questions 21 and 22. Complete the sentences below. Write no more than 1 word and or a number for each answer. The presentation will last 15 minutes. And by the way, whenever they start the audio in the beginning of the section, they tell you what the audio is going to be about. Please listen.
Section 3. You will hear two students discussing a geography presentation they're going to give.
Got it? Yeah. You're going to listen to two students discussing a geography presentation they are going to give. So in every section, in the beginning, they always tell you. Sometimes they write it also. If it is not written, don't worry, in the audio it will be there. And after that, they will give you half minute to read the questions. Okay, first they will tell you what it is and they'll say you now have half minute to read questions 21 to 26 and all that. Okay, now presentation will last 15 minutes. There will be a dash minutes for answer is going to be a number and that is for questions. Right? For example, there will be 10 minutes for questions and for questions they can use any other word. Right? Let's see.
Section 3. You will hear two students discussing a geography presentation they're going to give.
Remind me, Trevor, how long is the presentation?
Dr. White said 3 per hour.
So about 20 minutes.
Well, it'll be 15 minutes per presentation.
And 5 minutes for questions?
And 5 minutes for questions. Okay, so 5 minutes for questions, simple. 5 should be written as a number. Whenever there is a number in IELTS, try to write it as a digit. Don't try to write F-I-V-E 5. Just write it as a digit. Sorry? कौन सी writing में? Writing में if there is a number, you can use any technique. For example, when you are doing, you will write digits in writing task 1 academic. There are several numbers, so you will use digits only. Yeah. Okay, now let's go on. Question number 22. The presentation will not be. Now they are going to do. They are not going to do something. The presentation will not be. So for that they can use anything. Just focus will not be. The presentation will not be.
And is this one going to be assessed?
No, not this time round. Because it's the first one, you know.
Oh, good news.
Is this going to be assessed? No. What does that mean? The presentation will not be. Now just check their language and their style. In the question, they have given the answer. And as the lady said no, that is the answer. Now if she would have said yes, then that would not be the answer. Please listen to it again and focus. You know, once you understand these differences or these variations, IELTS listening will become easier for you.
And is this one going to be assessed?
No, not this time round. Because it's the first one, you know.
Oh, good news.
Ah, good news, huh? All right. Let's go on. Questions 23 to 26. What do the students decide about each topic for the geography presentation? Now underline decide. Students decide and topics are given geography presentation. Now by the way, questions 23 to 26, these are the topics and ABC, these are the options. So it's a good idea to read the options carefully, and one option can be used twice also because there are 4 questions and how many options? 3 options. Let's focus option A. They will definitely include this topic. Only underline definitely include. Got it? It's understood that they are going to talk about topics, so definitely include. Option B, might include. Option C, not include. Got it? Now just listen carefully. If they're going to include it, they'll say, let's see. I'll say, perhaps we should think about it, or then it means they may include it and all that. Question number 23, geographical location.
Well, Trevor, what are we going to include?
Well, do you think we ought to give some historical background?
Oh, no, definitely not. We won't have time.
Okay, but I think we ought to say something about the geographical location, because not a lot of people know where the islands are.
Yes, okay. I'll take notes, shall I?
Yeah, that'd be a help.
So, geographical location?
So, A, no. C, no. B, well done. सारे ही सही हैं. हाँ, मैं ही गलत हूँ. Correct answer is A. They will definitely include this topic. Now listen again.
Well, Trevor, what are we going to include?
Well, do you think we ought to give some historical background?
Oh, no, definitely not. We won't
Okay, this is historical background.
have
That's not
time.
topic.
Okay, But I think we ought to say something about the geographical location, because not a lot of people know where the islands are.
Yes,
Yes. So when she says yes, what does it mean? Students decide about each topic means A, that is option A, will definitely include it. Clear? Okay, let's see. Yes? No, it isn't. Don't go into that depth. Focus the words and focus. And after that, she was going to scratch some notes. So it's not that. Okay, listen again, please.
Well, Trevor, what are we going to include?
Well, do you think we ought to give some historical background?
Oh, no, definitely not. We won't have time.
Okay, but I think we ought to say something about the geographical location, because not a lot of people know where the islands are.
Yes, okay.
Yes, okay. Now what does that mean? They are going to include it. Yes means yes. Okay? Yeah. Alright, let's go on. Question number 24, economy.
Then we ought to give an overview of the whole education system.
Shouldn't we say something about the economy? You know, agricultural produce, minerals and so forth?
Well, Dr. White said we shouldn't go into that sort of detail.
But it's pretty important when you think about it. You know, because it does influence the education system.
Look, let's think about that one later, shall we?
Let's think about that one later, shall we? What does that mean? They might include this topic. Okay? Now see that they're not using the word we might include this topic. But the way they are talking about it, there you need to understand whether they will include it or not. Well done. Question number 25. Overview of education system.
Let's see how we're doing for time.
Okay, so general overview of education.
Of course.
Of course. General view. Now the word of course means they will definitely include it. Good.
And then the role of English language.
No, that goes in the language policy seminar. Don't you remember?
Are you sure?
Positive.
All right. So
All right.
those are the topics
See,
we're going
just
to be
focus their language and
to be
how they're
covering.
talking. I think this last one is a good example. Just see.
And then the role of English language.
No, that
No.
goes in the language policy seminar. Don't you remember?
Are you sure?
Positive.
Are you sure? Positive. So they will not include it. Okay, option C for that. Okay, now we have questions 27 to 30. Complete the table below. Once again, we've got table. Write no more than, that's it. Okay, on the left hand side, we have information / visual aid. On the right hand side, where from. So where from means where to get it from. Visual aid and where from. For example, you need multimedia. Where will you get it from? You need maps. Where will you get them from? So where from means resources, and information or visual aid means they are the things that you need. Overhead projector. Where from? Where are they going to get overhead projector from? That will be your answer. Let's see.
We need to think about what to prepare. Dr. White said he wanted us to use plenty of visuals and things, and we might as well try them out when we're not being assessed.
Well, the most important thing is the overhead projector.
No problem. We'll get that from the media room. Must remember to book it.
We'll get that from media room. Everyone got that? We'll get that from media room. Okay, there's one thing very important. You need to show interest and you should be enthusiastic about IELTS. Then you'll be able to get good bench score. Yeah, otherwise चोरों की तरह बाहर आपको कोई गाड़ी से उतार जाते हैं, आप IELTS की क्लास में आ जाते हैं, 9 बजते हैं तो आपको वहीं से बिठा के prison van में वापस ले जाते हैं. Then you'll not be able to produce good results. So you need to show interest. And the best way to show interest is control your yawns. Okay? Yes. Question number 28. Map of West Africa. And where will they get that from? Map of West Africa. I've got many students in West Africa. If you're from there, comment.
Well, we'll need a map, of course.
Probably two. One of the islands, large scale.
And one of West Africa.
Well, the West African one is no problem. There's one in the resources room.
Oh, yeah, of course, the resources room.
This one is in the resources room. It's the same resources. Yeah, say resources. Oh, what is that? Same resources. Okay, so they pronounce it differently. Resources, room. Resources. Resources, room. Okay. Next, there is no question. Map of Ireland, tourist brochure. And remember one thing, don't put your pencil directly on the question. One hand should follow the audio, one hand should write the answer. Now, for example, your pencil is on question number 29. But this finger is going to track the audio. When they talk about map of Ireland, now you put your finger here. Then they say tourist brochure, put your finger there. Then they say literacy figures, put your finger here. And when the answer comes, this hand will move and write the answer. And again, this hand will go to the next question. Okay, so one finger to track the audio and one hand to write the answer. Yes. Okay, literacy figures. Where will they get the literacy figures from? Google or any other place like that?
The islands are going to be more of a problem.
Tell you what, there's a very clear map of Santiago in that tourist brochure I showed you last week. Don't you remember it?
Oh yeah, that's right. We can just use the tourist brochure.
We also need statistics on several different things.
Literacy rates.
Yes, and school places.
How about the encyclopedia?
Nah, not up to date enough.
Why don't we call the embassy?
Oh, someone's enthusiastic.
Well, if something's worth doing.
I know, it's worth doing well.
Why don't we call embassy? That's right, embassy. How do you spell? A-M-E-M-B, B-A-S-S-Y. That's right. And she, one thing more. Do one thing. Pick up the sentences from listening and use them in your speaking. She said, someone is enthusiastic. Someone is enthusiastic. What does that mean? Someone is very excited. And you're talking to the person who is with you. For example, as we are talking to one another and say, someone is enthusiastic. Sometimes you say, aaj to koi bada pyara lag raha hai. That person is in front of you and pyara nahi lag raha, but you say, aaj to koi bada pyara lag raha hai. Hey, like that, okay? So, anyway, someone is enthusiastic. Try to pick up sentences from IELTS listening, use them in IELTS speaking, and you will see magic. Okay, answer is embassy, right? Question number 30, dash on school places. Now they need dash on school places.
We can find out statistics on school places from them as well.
Might as well.
We can
Look,
find
Julie,
out
it's almost time for
statistics on school places. Now, how do you spell statistics? S-T-A-T-I-S-T-I-C-S. Sticks. Okay, it's a statistics. Anyways, you can write even stats. In the answer key, the short form of statistics is stats. S-T-A-T-S. So you can write that also. Okay guys, let's start. This part is very interesting. You're gonna enjoy that. Monosodium glutamate. Now you might be thinking, what is monosodium glutamate? Remember, in the audio, they will explain it. You don't have to worry. If there is something quite unusual, they will explain that. It's not that now you say monosodium glutamate, this is scientific thing, this is chemical name and all that. I'm from arts background, I studied language and this is art, science and all that. It's not like that. They will not touch anything which is particular to a subject. It's all general. Question number 31. Speaker says, main topic of the lecture. Now, basically, they are going to talk about monosodium glutamate. But the speaker says the main topic of the lecture, underline main topic. Alright, for example, although we will talk about tea and coffee as well, but the main topic is biscuits. What will be the answer? Biscuits. For example, although we are going to talk about tea and coffee, but this lecture is particularly about biscuits. Got it? Right? So they will talk about subtopics, but your answer is main topic. Option A, history. And by the way, monosodium glutamate is understood. You don't need to read about it. Option A is, and you know history of what? History of monosodium glutamate. Option B, way monosodium glutamate works. Underline way and works. For example, they use the word process. how it works, how it affects and all that. Option C, where and used. Got it now? Okay, now please listen carefully and then decide what is the answer.
Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture about a chemical substance called monosodium glutamate.
In today's lecture, I'm going to talk about monosodium glutamate, or MSG as it's more commonly known. Now, MSG, as you probably know, is a flavor enhancer which is used particularly in Chinese and Japanese cooking. Today, I am going to explore why it is so popular in these cuisines, and more importantly, how does it enhance the flavor of food?
More importantly, how does it enhance the flavor of food? That is option B, way monosodium glutamate works. How does it enhance? How does it enhance means how it works. So B will be the right answer. Okay. Now, by the way, they didn't say anything about history and all that. They just came to the point. Question number 32. In 1908, scientists in Japan, what did they do? Made, and then the word is understood. MSG. Short form is fine. Made MSG. Okay. Option B, began using kombu and identified. So, two words are important. Made, then began using, and then identified. So, in 1908, scientists in Japan, what did they do?
The main reason why MSG is more commonly used in Japanese meals is tradition. For many thousands of years, the Japanese have incorporated a type of seaweed known as kombu in their cooking. As they
Okay, so answer is? Audio has not completed. Answer has not come. They did not use the word 1908, so you got to wait for that. Okay, it's not that, combo, yeah. Good. I got the answer. And those who find the wrong answers, they are double confident. Yeah, they have the wrong answer. And then when they get the result, they say, oh, hi. Yeah, I did it very well and what happened? So be careful. Now, I'll play this one from the beginning.
The main reason why MSG is more commonly used in Japanese meals is tradition. For many thousands of years, the Japanese have incorporated a type of seaweed known as kombu in their cooking, as they discovered it had the ability to make food taste better. But it wasn't until 1908 that the ingredient in kombu, which was responsible for the improvement in flavor, was actually discovered to be glutamate by scientists working there.
Was discovered. Good. Discovered and identified. So answer is? And one more thing. Listen to the audio till the end and then decide what's the right answer. Okay. So correct answer is C. Question number 33. What change occurred in the manufacture of glutamate in 1956? Underline change occurred. And then underline manufacture. So what change occurred in manufacturing of glutamate in 1956? Began to be manufactured on a large scale. Underline manufactured on a large scale. Right? Large scale means factories and everywhere they started manufacturing it, or they started manufacturing it all over the world, or they use the word production. They started its production all over the world and all that. Option B, Japanese began extracting it from natural resources. Japanese began extracting. Natural resources are like trees, plants, seaweeds and all that. Option C, it became much more expensive. Underline much more expensive. So what happened in 1956? Manufactured on a large scale, or Japanese began extracting it from the natural resources, or it became much more expensive. Let's see.
From 1908 until 1956, glutamate was produced commercially in Japan by a very slow and expensive means of extraction. It was in 1956 that the speed of the process was improved and industrial production increased dramatically and still continues to increase to this day. In fact, hundreds of thousands of tons of MSG are produced all over the world today.
Okay, so option A, it began to manufactured on a large scale. Very good. Okay guys, now we have questions 34 to 40. Write no more than 2 words in circle 2. Minimum 1 and maximum 2. Don't worry, yeah, don't worry, you know. Same thing started happening with the guy who jumped into the canal. पहले ये हुआ था, फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता थोड़ा सा. Just joking, okay? Don't worry. Okay, monosodium glutamate. Now they go on. MSG contains. Now, very simple. It contains 3 components. 2 components and the percentage is given. And what's the clue word here? 9.6. Whatever they say, it contains 9.6% dash. That will be your answer. And listen very carefully. 78.2. This finger will follow that. This finger is going to be at question 34. Then they say 12.2% is this. And when they say 9.6, now answer may come before 9.6 or after 9.6.
So what exactly is MSG? Well, monosodium glutamate contains 78.2% glutamate, 12.2% sodium, and 9.6% water.
Yeah. Water. Right answer is water. W-A-D-E-R. The way they pronounce water, water. Say, pata nahi kya cheez hai, but I wrote it. W-A-D-E-R. Water. Okay, correct answer? Water. Clear? Good. That's a good question, but that's the chemical name, so you should avoid it. Over here, they have not given it as an option, but sometimes they do write that. And one more thing, if you're taking computer-delivered IELTS, sometimes these type of words are not given in the answer key. So avoid it, okay? Because you never know and your one answer will be wrong. And you will never know throughout your life that one answer was wrong just because of this. Okay, let's go on. Glutamate is found in foods that contain protein, such as, very simple, and dash. Now tell me 2 food items that contain this protein. Eggs, milk, beef, mutton, fish, and all that. Okay, so answer is going to be like, you know, it can be bats, and bats also contain protein. Why not? Okay, the people in the tribes, they fulfill their protein needs from the bats. We read it in the last week. We had one article about that. Anyways, protein. So answer is going to be 2 sources of protein, and I'm going to play the audio together for 35 and 36. Listen carefully.
Glutamate is an amino acid that can be found naturally in all protein-containing foods. So this includes food such as meat and cheese.
Very simple. Meat and cheese. Now on 35 of your answer sheet, you will write meat. M-E-E-T, meat. Good. M-E-A-T. You know, some of you are responding, some of you are sleeping, whatever. I not manned. Okay. And cheese. C-H-I-E-E-S-E. Now all of you say cheese loudly. Cheese. Pan. Hello. Cheese. 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 Yeah, thank you. All right. That's better. Say cheese. Kaun si cheese. Okay. All right. Let's go on. MSG is used in foods in many different parts of the world. Okay. 1908. That's your clue word. 1908. Kikonei Ikeda discovered a dash. Now whatever he or she discovered, that will be your answer. For discovered, they can use the word identified, right, or found, or anything like that.
It is widely known that Chinese and Japanese food contains MSG, but many people don't seem to be aware that it is also used in foods in other parts of the world. For example, it is found in commercially made Italian pizzas, in American fast food, and in Britain, MSG is used in things like potato crisps.
Okay, what is the answer? Potato crisps. Well done. Answer has not come. Okay, I'm sorry. You know why do I do this? To keep you active and alert. Okay, so first they are going to say 1908. then this name like cockroach, after that they will come to the answer, okay? Yes. All right.
So, how exactly does MSG
Now.
work? Well, in the Western world, we commonly talk of 4 tastes, and I'm sure you're all familiar with the concepts of sweet, sour, bitter, and salt. Well, in 1908, Kikunae Ikeda identified a 5th taste.
Yes, identified a 5th taste, and they did not give the name to that taste. They only said identified a 5th taste. So answer is going to be 5th taste. 5th is a number, and with th. All we call them cardinal numbers and ordinal numbers. Numbers like 2 or second, numbers like 3 or third. Third means 3 plus rd. It's one number. It's just one number. Yeah, they've written 2 words only, so you can write FIFTH. Now, let me tell you one more thing. Even if they have not mentioned the number, so if you write 5th with 5 and th, they will accept it. No problem. Question number 38. Our ability to detect glutamate makes sense because it is. Now, what do they mean by it? Glutamate. Our ability to detect glutamate makes sense because it is so. For so, they can use the word very or any other word.
And it is thought that MSG intensifies this naturally occurring taste in some food.
Sorry, one thing I didn't read, that is, it is so dash naturally. So you will focus the word naturally as well. Now I play.
And it is thought that MSG intensifies this naturally occurring taste in some food. It does make perfect evolutionary sense that we should have the ability to detect or taste glutamate because it is the amino acid which is most common in natural foods.
Which is most common in natural food. So answer is because it is so common naturally. What is the word for naturally? In natural food. Some of you missed it. I'm playing it again. Answer is common. COMMON.
And it is thought that MSG intensifies this naturally occurring taste in some food. It does make perfect evolutionary sense that we should have the ability to detect or taste glutamate because it is the amino acid which is most common in natural foods.
Okay, it is the amino acid which is most common in natural food. So our ability to detect glutamate makes sense because it is so common naturally, right? Let's go on. Then they talk about John Prescott and question number 39. Before that, they talk about sweetness tells us. Question number 39. Now listen. Sweetness tells us that a food contains carbohydrates, right? Next, dash tells us that a food contains toxins. Now what tells us that food contains toxins? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to play both questions together because the audio is the same way. Let's move on. Question 39, dash tells us that a food contains toxins. Sourness tells us that a food is spoiled. You know, sometimes जब खाना बासी हो जाता है वो खट्टा हो जाता है, right? But even then you insist, कहाँ खराब हुए हैं? Once we went on a tour and there was somebody who brought Shami kebabs, right? So we ate जितने हम खा सकते थे. अगर 25-30 बना के लाया तो ज़बरदस्ती थोड़ी है. So we ate as many as possible. He said, sir, eat more. I said, no, thank you. So then they were there second day, third day, and then they started smelling badly and all that. But the gentleman was insisting, खराब नहीं हुए, थोड़े से खट्टे हो गए थे. So इन सारी चीज़ों का ताल्लुक यासीन भाई के साथ है नहीं है. All right. So anyway, sourness tells us that food is spoiled. Saltiness tells us that a food contains something. Now two things. Dash tells us that food contains toxins. And saltiness tells us that food contains dash. So listen.
John Prescott, an associate professor at the University of Chicago, suggests that this 5th taste serves a purpose just as the other tastes do. He suggests that it signals to us the presence of protein in food. in the same way that sweetness indicates that a food contains energy-giving carbohydrates. Bitterness, he says, alerts us to toxins in the food, while sourness warns us of spoilage, and saltiness signals the presence of mineral.
Saltiness signals the presence of minerals. Now see the language. Presence of minerals and contains minerals. And 39? 30. Not bitterness. Yeah, that's the wrong answer, huh? Yeah. So 39 bitterness and 40 minerals. Just listen to it last time.
John Prescott, an associate professor at the University of Chicago, suggests that this fifth taste serves a purpose just as the other tastes do. He suggests that it signals to us the presence of protein in food, in the same way that sweetness indicates that a food contains energy-giving carbohydrates. Bitterness, he says, alerts us to toxins in the food, while sourness warns us of spoilage, and saltiness signals the presence of mineral.
Okay, have you noticed one thing? IELTS is full of information. You improve. Reading passages are full of information, okay? Yeah.